Now we're going to take a look at tab 26 in subprogram 1. First, we see it's setting rotation to 0, the size to 80, the X position to 150, the Y position also to 150. We see it set the value of J to 0, and I like to use I and J as indexes for something. And here it starts a loop for I, 0. Well, we'll go down here and we see that there's a next I down here, 7, increased by 1 each time. It's going to go from 0 to 7, which means there's 8 times it's going to go around the loop. The next thing we see is it sets the value of P to the value in list C plus 20 plus I. Well, let's see what that is. We can click on this instruction. There's where the list C is, and there's the 20. If I click there, it's going to show list C. Here's list C at 20. Notice it highlighted it right away because it knew that that's what you were referring to in the instruction. Well, in list C, I see at 20 a number, and then another one, another. There's 8 numbers. Oh, I see. Every time it goes around the loop, it's going to select another one of these values and put it in P. Well, what makes sense is that list C is an application list, which means it gets saved with the program and it gets loaded back when the program is loaded. So these numbers will be there right away. Well, now I'm just going to quit that instruction and continue on. Well, the very next thing it says is go get that pattern P and put it in a place called pattern. Well, first, let's look at that. We'll bring it in an update mode. We'll click on pattern. We see down here, that's a work list, which has been renamed to pattern. All right. We also want to go look now at these patterns. So we can quit that and we'll go down here to where the patterns are. Now this is an already prepared pattern that it got out of the table here. Here you can see that all these patterns have numbers. So what that's referring to is one of these patterns in this list. To leave the patterns, first we click the 0 to go back to the pattern table here, and then we click done. So we know it's selecting a pattern and then building the dots for the pattern so that it can do this make a polygon. But before it makes the polygon, it should decide on a color. Well, it does. Right here it picks a color from the random color table at 100 plus I. Notice it uses I in order to go to a different one each time it goes around the loop. So let's look at that. It's at 100. All right, it right away goes to that position in the table to show you what's there. Well, it has the color 60, then 417, then 174. They're just random colors. This is the random color table. So we know it's going to get a color from this random table each time. Well, we'll quit that instruction. Here it's just going to draw the polygon and fill it in. Now here, well, let's look down here. Here it's going to print some text on the screen. The text needs to use X and Y. But first here we're going to save X and Y in A and B. Then down below here, it's going to set X back to A and Y back to B. So any changes between here that we make to X and Y will be erased because it gets set back to what it was. Well, we're going to do this text statement. First it says, well, move it down 40. Then it says choose font bold 25 point. Then it says make the color 0. Then it's going to put this text on the screen. It's in page A plus 256J. Well, let's take a look at that again. We'll put it up here and we'll say we want to go to 256. Here's 256. There's the word number. Then exactly 10 away from that is letter. See, this is at 256. Let's click there. 266. Click here, 276. So each one of these names is 10 characters apart from the one before it. Now, I'll give you a rule. Always set it back to the beginning, this one, so that when you hit enter, this still says 256. But we're not going to enter it anyway. We're going to quit. Here's its setting. X and Y back to what they were above. Here it's adding 10 to J. Every time it goes down around the loop, this offset here is going to increase by 10 and go to that next name. Okay, I understand what that's for. Then it's going to add 200 to the value of X. Well, that means the first picture will be here, then one here, then one here, then one here. The next one would be off the screen. So around here is 900. So when it gets over there, it says set X back to 150 and add 150 to Y. Well, we're going to have to execute this to see what's actually happening. Here's the next I7, and then it goes home, which means go back to the main program where it's going to see an exit. Well, let's execute this application. Here we see what patterns it said one is going to make polygons of. There they are. And here's the text we saw that was in that application page, which gets saved when the program is saved. Well, now, they don't look like they're exactly where we want them to be, so I think we want to run RT. But we want RT to be positioned at the beginning of that tab, so we're going to go back to the program, and we're going to go up here and highlight the tab, so that when we go back here and say we want to go RT, RT starts at that tab position. What's in the black boxes is data that we can change. Well, we don't want to change the tab number, because if we did, it wouldn't be executing this anymore. But here's some other cases. We could change the value of R. Well, that's the rotation. So yes, we could go in here and say, turn it 100. Well, that doesn't look right. So we can click on the bottom of it and take the 100 away. Then we have the size parameter. Well, we can make them 180 in size. I don't think that's right. Better reduce it back again. Well, we could make them a little smaller, maybe easier to fit them on the page, so I'll go down to 70. Well, then down here it says, the value of X, where to put the first one. After that, we know it put them 200 apart. Well, I think we can reduce the value of X. Start them sooner. It's an empty space over there. The value of Y, they're 150 from the top. They look like they're down too far, so we're going to reduce that number. That's better. They're closer to the top. Later, maybe we can move them down. Here's the value of J, which is an offset. It should start at 0, which is later on we're going to see it's 256 plus J. Well, we won't change I. I is going to go from 0 through 7. This number we can't change. That actually has a special use. So now we're going to go forward to see what else we can change. How much it adds to Y before it does the text. Well, Y makes it go further down. So maybe we want the names a little further down than they are. Let's go to 50, 60, 65 maybe. There, we moved them further down. Says the font is bold, points 25. Well, we could increase the points and see what happens. Let's make that 6, 7, 27. That's pretty big. Let's take it back down to 25. That's okay. Well, what next can we do? Well, we could change the color of the text. Let me show you. We could give the color of red a little something. How's that? Dark red. Well, it's text. Black's fine. Text says it does 10 characters. Well, yep, that's right. There's 10 characters, so we can't change that. We could make it less than that. I think we could make it 9. Let's see what happens if we made it 19. If you take 1 away from 0, it actually becomes a 9. Well, if you make it 19, you got something else there. We don't want that. But if we made it 9, 9 would be all right because there's no name that's as big as 9. All right, we'll let it be 9. Here it adds 10 to J. Well, these names were 10 apart, so we better leave it stay 10. Here it adds the 200 to X. Well, I see that these are kind of close together. We could move them a little further apart. So let's move them 210, 220, 230. Move them further apart. Well, we can still go forward. We didn't reach home yet. See, some of these we've done already. There's the add to X 230. Here's where it sets X back to its beginning again. Remember, once it gets past 900 here, takes it back to where it was. But we had changed that. And now what we'll do is we'll reduce this one too. Put them underneath, man. Make it look like they're lined up. Well, that's fine. Then we add to Y 150 when we go to this new row. Well, we could put them further apart. So let's see here. Add 150. How about 160, 170, 180. All right. Now things look like they've improved from the way they were in the beginning. So now what we want to do is we're going to take away our RT. We're going to go back to the program. Now we notice that all those changes have been made to the program. All the adjustments we did to make it look nicer are already recorded in the program. What this means is we didn't have to go change something here, go and execute it, see what it looked like, and then say, oh, I'd like to change that by 2, and then go back to here, change it by 2, then execute it again. RT can be used very effectively. Here is our result now. Much improved. While programming, get information from the glossary by clicking Info. Thank you for watching.